Ladies and gentlemen,
everybody wants the prize, but nobody wants to pay the price.
Can they be pushed? Do they have a sense of urgency? Do they want to be great?
And then, of course, you look at them and be like, yeah, right.
Everybody wants to be on your team when you're on top.
I saw the angel and the marble, and I carved until I set him free.
Go be somebody, bro.
But the most important part of the Be Somebody journey is the resilience.
Welcome to the Be Somebody Podcast, your real and raw destination for all things entrepreneurship, leadership, and culture, with your host, Kash Shaikh, and our CEO and founder of Be Somebody Inc. and BSB Group International, Kash Shaikh. Welcome to episode 10 of the Be Somebody Podcast. A special shout out to all of our listeners, subscribers, and supporters. I'm your co-host, Kash Shaikh, with our founder and CEO of Be Somebody Inc. and BSB Group International, Kash Shaikh. What's going on, Kash?
What's going on, Because I can't see you from over there, man.
I'm like, this is so weird. Like, I'm so far.
If you're listening to the podcast and you don't have the benefit and the beauty to be watching it on video, which you should be by now, episode 10, you should be checking it out on besomebody.com. But if you're listening, I want you to know that usually Vikas is next to me, still 6 feet social distancing, usually next to me. But now, because for the first time in Be Somebody podcast history, we're going to have a guest in studio.
Super excited.
And because of the social distancing guidelines and principles, Vikas got jettisoned across the studio. Herbie got kicked off the set.
He's not even here, right?
so that we can have this amazing guest who I'm like level 10 pumped for.
Oh, yeah. Level 10, episode 10. We had to go hard and go big on episode 10. I mean, we got a long way to go, but I'm super excited and grateful that we're here.
I'm so excited that like this milestone episode that we have an amazing guest, someone who's just inspired me so much over the last 3 years, someone that's been a motivation to not only our team, but to her team and to so many people around the country.
Yeah. Wanted to bring something up before we bring our awesome leader on and our guest today. We brought this up in episode 7 about, one of our clients and partners, Kroger Health, rolling out testing across the country. And this past week, there was more testing going on. So just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. And,
I'm so inspired by what the team at Kroger Health's been doing. Really been on the forefront of enabling Americans to get tested. As we all know, that testing is such a huge issue, is a huge factor in us combating and containing this pandemic. Right. And a lot of great partnerships are being formed to enable that to happen. And Kroger Health has been in the center of it. Yeah. And we talked about a few weeks ago that we got to go out to Tennessee. We got to go out to Kentucky to see the work, the initial tests that were happening. This past week, we got to go out to Michigan, and then here in our home state of Ohio. And it's just been incredible to see how quickly the Kroger Health team, and obviously I am, if you ask me if I'm biased, I am biased because Kroger Health is one of our partners and our guest today is one of our best partners, but I'm biased for a good reason because of the work that they're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing things that nobody else is doing. In Michigan, actually was the first time ever that pharmacists were actually observing the testing. Yeah. Because it's self-administered nasal swabs. It's super safe. It's all CDC guidelines. It minimizes PPE. It increases safety. People come in, they stay in their cars, their windows are up, and then a professional has to guide them still through the process, Josh. And usually it's a nurse practitioner or maybe other places are physicians. This time it was pharmacists in Michigan. First time ever. Remember, we met the first pharmacist in the country that led that. Her name was Dency. She was so excited. And if you think about what that means, not only for expanding the access to testing, the ability to test across the country when we bring pharmacists into the process, it's huge. Yep. And when you think about what that means for the pharmacy profession, about helping to elevate the profession, because these are clinical practitioners, these are healthcare experts that are often overlooked. Yeah. And I'm just so excited to see the recognition that they're getting and also the passion and the work that they're putting in to be on the forefront of this crisis. So it's been an amazing week. So awesome. I'm pumped about our guest, man. I'm pumped about our guest, Vikas, and I don't want to waste any more time, man. I want to get to our guest. I'm excited we have someone in studio. I'm nervous a little bit that we have someone in studio for the first time because, with COVID-19, we've been doing this all via phone, but now we have someone like in real life.
In real life, right here.
So
6 feet apart, though.
I know, 6 feet apart, but here's the thing. I know you're going to do what you do with your intro, but for me, I'm just so inspired by Colleen Lindholz, who's our guest today, president of Kroger Health. Colleen has been really an industry leader, a thought leader in changing the way healthcare is delivered in America, as the leader of the 5th largest retail healthcare organization in the country. She's been a thought leader in driving food as medicine, food as a preventative solution to stop disease before it starts. And she's been a huge enabler of bringing together this multidisciplinary team of healthcare experts, dietitians, pharmacists, nurse practitioners, technicians, all together. And what they're doing to combat COVID-19 and to lead during this pandemic is inspiring. It's important. But I'll tell you, I'm learning even more than what they were doing beforehand was so important. I just saw an article today. Remember we had Christine Day here, the CEO of Performance Kitchen. Yeah. And we were talking food as medicine. Remember, Vikas? Yeah. And we talked about different stats of $3.5 trillion spent on healthcare in America. We spend the most money, but we're still the most unhealthy. Yeah. We talked about all the chronic diseases. We talked about all those stats and data that speak to the importance. And we talked about after this pandemic, how healthy eating is going to be more important, how the heightened awareness of immunity is going to be more important. Yeah. But some stats I saw in a New York Times article continue to blow my mind about this, Vikas. Less than 20% of Americans are metabolically healthy. Wow. Only 12% of Americans are without high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and prediabetes. So 88% of Americans have those issues. Wow. And then, according to a report that commemorated the 50th anniversary of the White House Conference on Food, Nutrition, and Health, poor diet is the leading cause of poor health in America. And more than 500,000 people are dying every year because of that poor diet. And the end statement to this report was that when you get past age, right, poor diet is the lead factor in terms of driving complications, illness, and death from COVID-19. Wow. So if you think about, when you talk about food as medicine, it's never been more important, and it will be even more important moving forward.
Yep. So. And we've talked about it on multiple episodes about how important health and wellness is. And even during this time, we're seeing it all over social media, all over the news and everything. So
we talked about it. Because, a lot of industries are hurting right now. A lot of people are spending less money in a lot of places where customers, where consumers want to invest their money, their hard-earned money, which they're trying to protect more than ever right now, are things like fresh food, healthcare, well-being, wellness in general. Yep. So it's a huge opportunity, man. So we got a perfect guest for episode 10, Vikas.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's bring her on. So let's welcome a leader who started as a pharmacy intern and worked in the healthcare industry for over 25 years and now leads a team of over 22,000 healthcare professionals in over 2,300 pharmacies and over 200 clinics across the country, and was recently named one of the most powerful women leaders leading the food industry by Forbes magazine, and also an American food hero by Eating Well magazine. Let's welcome President of Kroger Health, Colleen Lindholz.
Yeah! Oh my God! Someone in studio.
Wow!
Elbow. We usually would hug Colleen, but now
we would usually hug.
We're accepting the guidelines, right? Yeah. So Colleen, you're our first ever in studio guest.
Super excited to be your first ever. This is awesome.
There's no one else that we'd rather have. I mean, we had some friends. We had my friend Sean Ushwin on. So sorry, we had Henry Cejudo on the show a couple weeks ago.
He's way better.
No,
he's a legend.
He's a legend. But Colleen, like American food hero, one of the most powerful women in the industry. The work that you've been doing has really inspired me. We're blessed and grateful to be partnering with you guys. But what you started way before we came along, and it's just been awesome to watch it. So thank you for being here. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we wanted to talk about, Colleen, there's so much we can talk about. Because
this could be like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
And
3
because
hours.
like if we
I have all night. You ready?
if we forget that you're over there, because like don't take it personal.
I'll do a little like
Yeah,
hey,
clear
guys.
clear your throat. I wanted to jump in, Colleen, just to start with, because we talked about it the other day about all the work that's happening in the grocery side of Kroger. Obviously, Kroger, the largest grocery chain in America. And then also the healthcare side, which you oversee on Kroger Health, 22,000, as Vikas mentioned, 22,000 healthcare practitioners, professionals serving 14 million people every year across this country. And what you guys are doing together on the front lines of the front lines to serve Americans has been incredible. Can you talk a little bit about what it's been like leading during this pandemic?
Yeah, so first of all, it's an honor to be given the opportunity to lead on the front lines of the front lines. I've been in the industry for 25 years, and I've never seen a time like we're seeing right now. I've never seen people come together like I'm seeing right now. And the collective efforts of the 460,000 people that work for the Kroger Company across the country has just been, anything but amazing. Amazing to see people being a part of something bigger than themselves, and how fast the Kroger Company has reacted to this crisis. And from the safety measures that we put in place quickly for our associates and for our customers. And every decision that we make, by the way, is grounded in our values and our purpose. And I think we talk a lot about purpose, right, Kash? And to feed the human spirit, but we've never seen it like we're seeing it right now, come alive, whether it be, in our stores or beyond our four walls. The work that we're doing with the government to expand the COVID testing locations has just been a true testament to who we are and what we believe in. Right. And so it's definitely been a whirlwind, but it's been an honor to be a part of it.
It's so great to hear you talk about purpose, Colleen, because we've been talking a lot about on the show that now more than ever, it's so important for companies to really live and breathe their values, their purpose, their mission and vision. And lots of times it's words on a paper, but I've always seen it come to life in the work that you've been doing and that Kroger's been doing. But it's so critical right now because that's what people are looking for, hope and inspiration during this time.
In times of crisis, that's exactly what people look for, is hope and inspiration. And I think they look for companies and leaders that do more beyond their four walls, that they really do well for people. I've said forever, if we do what's right for people, the business is just going to come. And that is what we are seeing happen right now.
And you talked about a little bit about what you're doing with governments and all the partnerships that are coming together. We even talked about, it's been kind of crazy to see even retailers that were competitors in the past get at the table together and say, hey, how are we going to figure this out for COVID testing, or how are we going to scale different solutions? But can you share a little bit about some of these conversations and partnerships that you're doing, starting with the government officials that you've been partnering with?
Yeah, so it started with the state of Kentucky and the partnership we've had with Governor Beshear and his team, and then it's expanded to multiple states. So we're really excited to announce that we'll expand. We're going to double the number of states that we're actually doing the COVID testing in.
Awesome.
Say up to 14 states that we'll be in over the next month or so. But it really started in Kentucky with Governor Beshear, and we learned a lot by working with him and his team. It's been different in that some of the sort of demands and things that they were thinking were a little bit different than what we were thinking. But what I've learned here is by partnering and really looking at data, looking at the hot spots, and then being willing to give a little bit, which we have. It's been awesome. So it took us a few weeks to get there, but I'm really excited when we announced that on Easter Sunday on the partnership with the first state. We've also been partnering close with HHS, so that's Health and Human Services, in ways that we never have before. And that partnership really started when Rodney McMullen, our CEO, was able to speak to President Trump at the White House and said that, hey, he was committed to helping be a part of the solution for testing across the entire nation. So that's how we got hooked up with some of the people at HHS. And now we have an ongoing conversation on what they need, where they need it, and basically how we can help partner with them.
How has it been that now the everyday kind of work for the Kroger company, whether it's putting food on the shelves or filling prescriptions or now helping people get tested, is so front and center and the most important conversations and most important meeting rooms in America. We're talking about the White House,
Yes. Yes.
We're talking about governors across states. I mean,
yes.
To me, I've always believed and known the work that you all do is important, but it's never felt so big and impactful as it is today.
Yeah, and that grocery associates are essential workers. And that's been really important. That's been part of what Rodney's mission has been, to get the governors in the various states or at the federal level to say, hey, the grocery workers are essential workers, and they deserve the same type of treatment, whether that be the different priority levels for getting tested and being really prioritized to test, or access to the essential PPE, or the personal protective equipment that needs to be worn in order to, keep them safe while they're on the front lines of putting the groceries on the shelf each and every day.
Right. And you're somebody that's always been, even as you've advanced in the company at the level that you are, the president of Kroger Health, whenever we see you, like Colleen's always in the stores, you're always talking to everybody, whether it's a produce manager, whether it's the front cashier, whether it's someone in the pharmacist, that's always been part of who you are, is getting out and meeting with these people and connecting with your team. I mean, so I'm sure it's much bigger for you to make sure they're protected. It's a deeper.
Oh, absolutely.
issue.
It's family. It's like family. And, we cannot do what we want to do without the 460,000 people we have out there. So it doesn't matter what level of job that you have at Kroger. I'm really proud that I am led by a CEO like Rodney, who feels like that too, very connected to our associates. And the number one thing he asked me when I called him and asked him about the testing and we wanted to move forward, he said, I have to know that our associates are going to be protected. I have to know that the safety is number one. And I assured him that we would have more volunteers amongst our nurse practitioners and our pharmacists than we actually needed. And that is what's come to fruition today. And it's just wonderful to see the sort of outpouring of I'll do whatever. I'll go to another state if you need me to, Colleen. So our healthcare professionals are proud. Very proud and humbled to be able to have this opportunity. Me as a healthcare professional, I've spent 25 years in the profession, and we really long for days like this. We long for days where we say, hey, we can do something that's just extremely important that may never come again in our lifetimes. I hope that this kind of crisis doesn't come again in our lifetime, but when it does, we know that when we're able to help, it's just a feeling like, I don't know, nothing else. So I'm proud of our people. I'm proud of what we're doing, and I know that our company is making a difference.
Right. The visual I get in my head when you say that, Colleen, is, you talk about first responders or firefighters like running into the fire.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what the team's been doing.
Yes, absolutely. It's again and again and each and every day, even our manufacturing plants and our distribution centers and just the people that, aren't really at the forefront. You don't necessarily see them. I mean, they've been working around the clock, 24 hours a day to get the needed essentials, food, medications, drugs, those types of things to our stores.
And you know what? I didn't tell you yet. I actually texted Rodney last night.
You did?
I texted Rodney last night because I sent him a picture of one of the pictures that I had shared with you of the folks out on the front lines. And I just was like, I just want you to know, like, I'm truly inspired by the Kroger company and the people out there. And he responded and he said, it's so true. Our people make all the difference. Like the Kroger people, the Kroger family is amazing. Well, the fact that he responded to me, I was going to tell you, it's amazing too, because
yes,
and I said, I'm
he's
sorry
a wonderful man. He believes. And I think that's something really important too. When you go to do something, whether it be a job or a role or a task, or you take something on, when you truly believe in what you're doing, which we believe in what we're doing, it makes all the difference versus having to be forced to do something. We've not been forced to do any of this. And Kroger has gone to all measures to ensure the safety of the public, the safety of our associates, and to do whatever we can to be part of the country, getting back to work. Love it what the company's recently done with the blueprint. Let's get America back to work. And the Kroger company said, hey, let's share everything that we've learned and everything that we've put together.
Right.
And let's allow small businesses and those that may have not had the opportunity or the money to do it, let's share it with them. And I'm really excited that this blueprint, that expansion of our COVID testing sites, we're going to be part of the blueprint also. We're moving to procuring tests that are going to be at home, approved by the FDA for at-home testing.
Awesome.
For COVID. And what we are going to do, the Kroger Company, is we're going to offer solutions for small businesses and businesses to get their employees back, to make the employees feel, good about, hey, I don't have the virus, I can go to work. And so we're going to be offering that as a solution for the small businesses. And I'm just really proud of that. Yeah. We've got a lot of great partners, a lot of great companies that we already work with, but that's going to be a part of getting America back to work. And I'm really proud that the pharmacy profession is putting itself in a different position. So when Secretary Azar came out with that announcement for the expansion of scope of pharmacists to allow them to order the test and perform the test, whether that be an observation like what's happening right now with the self swabs, or an observation via like a virtual telehealth visit, which will happen with the next round of tests, or the antibody tests that will come. It's really important to the profession of pharmacy. The country has more pharmacists, and there are more pharmacies on every corner than there are any doctor's offices or hospitals or anything like that. Wow. So we've always said it will be the nation's pharmacist when the country gets in a bind that will help save it. And it's coming to fruition today. Really proud of our pharmacists for saying, hey, I committed my life to the service of all humankind. No matter what, we're going to put patient safety first, and we are going to change as the profession changes. And that's exactly what's happening today. The profession is changing, allowing us to do more, and the pharmacists are stepping to the forefront. And it's an important part at Kroger because of the strategy that we built. And Kash, you and your team have been a huge part of us building our strategy. And one of the deliberate decisions that we made was that we were going to practice at the top of our licenses. Right. We were not going to back down. We were going to make it mandatory for the people that worked at Kroger. And here we are today. And that's why we're able to execute so fast. Is we've laid that really critical foundation.
I think that's a great point. I mean, I didn't think about it beforehand, and I should have. We always say pharmacy is much more than putting pills in a bottle. But do you believe that training that you've been doing for the last couple of years to get people ready to practice more clinically at the top of their licenses has prepared them for this type of effort? Yes,
absolutely. The training, the foundation that we have built have given them the confidence and the ongoing training. Of course, the pharmacists that just got out of school between over the last 5 years are very much more equipped than those like myself that got out of school 25 years ago. Right. But we have given our pharmacists opportunities, trained them appropriately, brought them along the journey with us, and most importantly, taught them that those types of interactions are why you went to school. Those kind of interactions with people keep you coming back every day. Those type of interactions are what make differences in people's lives, not just putting the pills in the bottle. Right. So we've moved beyond that, and that's why I feel that we are going to change the way that healthcare is delivered in this country, because we have the right people in place to do it. We have the multidisciplinary team approach, and we have the intersection between food and medicine. Right. And there's no better place to be than right there.
Vikas had mentioned, Vikas, and we're going to let you jump in eventually, Vikas. I mean, just try to yell.
I'm not stopping the flow.
Just jump in if you need to, Vikas. Yeah. But, what we had talked about was how much innovation has been occurring due to, in some cases, like desperation, but also just the massive need for speed and for solutions. If we think about some of the things that you and your team have stood up so quickly, it's been pretty remarkable.
We've truly moved at a pace that matters. The whole company is moving at a pace that matters. I believe it's a lot about narrowing our focus and getting very keenly focused on, the main 2 or 3 or 4 things that we have to get out. And through doing that, we stood up in collaboration with Microsoft, a healthcare bot, and we built an online screening tool that would be very effective at getting people who needed to go through a screening process to get the test to the people that need the test first. Right. We've launched a telehealth platform that had been in pilot for a couple of years, but managed to do that within a week. Right. A week's amount of time. Yeah. And then we stood up something too that's really important actually to me because of the food as medicine strategy, is we were able, in collaboration with all merchandising departments and the rest of the company, get the healthy boxes and stood up in the e-commerce platform where we could ship direct to home those that have been quarantined by COVID in their homes and don't have access to food. We partnered with a couple of the large payers in the country to be able to get boxes to their homes quickly.
People typically say, like, the big companies. I mean, Kroger's 16th, 17th largest company in America, 500,000 employees, $120 billion company. Like, typically people assume that those companies are slow and that, they need partners, whether it's agencies or consultancies or startups, whatever, around them to help them move fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was telling my team, like, we're supposed to be the cheetah. We are a 20-person company. We're supposed to be the cheetah. And Kroger is supposed to be the armadillo. Like, it's supposed to be like the slow, like, armadillo, really. But the armadillo is moving as fast as the cheetah and maybe faster recently. And I'm like, guys, you should be a little bit worried about this because, if the Kroger company and big companies like this could always move at that speed, honestly, then they become unstoppable, or it's like the Elephant Stampede. It's not armadillo anymore. It's like the big elephant stampeding down.
Yeah.
But I think what you said is so powerful about when the company decides to focus.
Yes.
That's when it becomes able to move that fast.
Yeah, just like Kash, you and I have talked about this. When we decide that we're not going to settle, everything changes.
Right.
And that's exactly what's happened very recently. We decided, hey, we're not going to settle. We're going to get out in front of this. We are going to do this COVID testing. We have to have a tool so that people can go online and register, and we made it happen. And very quickly. But I do need to point out that we've had partners along the way.
Right.
I mean, your company has been tremendous in helping us gain speed and get to where we need to go. And along with people like Microsoft that helped us get the bot built and the screening tool and all of that built very quickly. So it's not been just us. But I agree with you. When we decide we're going to do something and we say we're not going to settle, our whole world changes. And that's what's happened over the past month or so at Kroger.
One thing that you said that about not settling from the company perspective, it really feels like, a huge part of who you are. You never settle. And I know it's not easy. And I know that sometimes you got to, deal with a lot to get to where you want to go, which is help people. Why do you want to keep pushing?
I want to keep pushing because I believe that things can be different. I believe in a better world. I believe in not backing down. And food as medicine is something that I've been pushing actually since 2008. I know that sounds kind of crazy because 2008 is when I went through the management training program and stepped away from my pharmacist role on purpose. And the reason that I did that was to learn the rest of the store. As a pharmacist, I would stand at the counter and see people diagnosed with diseases and look back at the shelves and say, but Colleen, what do I do about this? Can you help me with how I eat? Can you help me with how I cook? I have a family of 4. Now I need to change my diet. Like, what do I do? And so I did it a long time ago on purpose to learn the rest of the store and to get kind of to where I am today. And that was just having the honor to be able to lead this. But, it's a lot about commitment. It's a lot about where you come from, who you are, your purpose in life in general. And I know why I'm put on this earth, and I'm not going to stop pushing for change. And I think there's a lot of change that needs to happen in our country, and I believe in it. So commitment. When you commit yourself to something and you say, I'm going to go do this no matter who pushes back, and in the when there's adversity and doubters all around you, you just have to stay persistent. I mean, you talk about resilience, you talk about persistence, you talk about, getting people around you that believe, because there's a lot of unbelievers, but we believe that we can change the way America eats. We believe that we can be a part of the solution for the country, what healthcare would call the triple aim, which is access, affordability, and quality of care. And so I guess it's because I believe so much that I'm not going to give up. And I'm going to do all I can to do what's right for people, to help people live healthier lives, which is our vision statement, which I believe is what we're doing each and every day with the decisions that we make.
But what do you do in a corporate environment when you're pushing something that you believe? And it's pure because you believe in it. You really want to help people, but you get met by roadblocks or barriers. How can you adjust? Even if I look at my own corporate career, there was a lot of things I believed that I wasn't successful pushing through because I met roadblocks. I didn't know how to handle it at the time. And I go back and now think, well, what would I have done differently? But, what is your kind of guidance or advice to folks on how to continue to push that boulder up the mountain?
Yeah, I think you have to try to look at it through the lens of other people. And oftentimes you have to change the approach or potentially change the presentation or see the world that they're living in and try to bring that world into what you're trying to either get past, get funding for or whatever. I think it's just, taking different angles and getting knocked down and getting back up, getting knocked down and getting back up. I mean, that's kind of what life's all about. You don't always win. Right. You don't always win. But all I know is I'm not going to give up on some things until people see it. The angel and the marble. Right. Kash, that's what you've taught me, right? You keep carving it out until people see it and say, wow, that's a huge opportunity. And not just for the Kroger company. I'm proud to work for Kroger. I'm dedicated to the company. I'm proud to work for people that care. I'm proud to work for a company that has a purpose. But I'm doing it not just for my company, but for the country. Because I believe that again, that we can have a better country and a stronger country and a better world. And while it might be very small, our contribution, small things lead to bigger things. And there's power in numbers and there's power in people. And if you can put something out there that others grab onto, which I believe right now, Food is Medicine is the perfect, absolute time to go talk about this. Who knows where it might go. Right.
Well, there's so much to go in that, but on Food as Medicine in particular, like we talked about in the intro, it's something that you guys have been championing for a long time at the Kroger company, and something obviously we believe in, we're grateful to partner with, but like it's so relevant now, and I really believe it's going to be more relevant than ever. When you look at the data, even if you look at the studies, you look what the doctors and scientists are saying about diet and the role that it's going to play and that it plays with not just immunity, but specifically even with COVID-19, the opportunity with Food as Medicine is bigger than ever.
Right now is a perfect time because our country can take these incidents of things like diabetes and obesity the other way by implementing a Food as Medicine across the board and getting the payers. A real key to our strategy is getting the payers of the country along with the government. They're the largest payer.
United Healthcare.
And United Healthcare is an Anthems. And then the government's the largest payer of healthcare in the country in general with Medicare and Medicaid. Getting them to actually pay for food and be more in the prevention space versus right now we're in the let's pay for it after everybody's really sick space. We need to be more in the prevention space. And there's many studies out there right now proving that when you pay for healthier foods and you get that on the tables across America, that will mean better outcomes for years.
Well, Kash, you want something? What are you trying to jump in?
I actually have a question more for both of you. Obviously, Colleen, you're our client and partner, but you all have a very awesome and unique relationship because it goes beyond just the professional side of working together.
Yes.
It goes, about building trust and having that line of communication, to always be there for each other to be able to do the great work that is necessary. So just wanted to talk, how do you do that? How what does it take to build that trust to go beyond just that, the professional client partnership?
This is deep.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm more philosophical.
Well, I want to be around people that make me better. And Kash, when I first met him, I knew that he had a special talent, something that I did not have, but something that I needed. And as a leader, we should know that we never know it all. And we always want to surround ourselves with people that are better than us and that think differently than us. But at the same time, respect us. Right. And I think that's what I have admired in Kash ever since I first started down the path with him is his vision, his talent, and the things that I knew he would make my team better. And so I don't know about you, how you feel about that.
Yeah,
but
no.
I mean, you have definitely made me better as a leader, which I greatly appreciate it. And for sure, Kroger Health better.
Oh, thank you so much. And I appreciate it. And I've learned so much from you and so much from the team and just so much about what I didn't know and that it inspired me to go learn more. I remember coming back from meetings and, whether it's about the pharmacy profession or whether it's about strategy and coming back and like, man, I should have known that. And I never want to not know that again and go study it up so I could be better and try to help the team. But for me, I think, Vikas, with that question, which I think is a great question, and Colleen and I have talked about it a lot, almost even recently, like it's tough to be, great professional partners and also, have a caring friendship and relationship, because like, where do you kind of draw the different lines and you're trying to push. And, I always say, like, on the business side, if we're not performing, like, I want you to hold us accountable. And I never want people to think that great work doesn't matter, because it does. And speed matters. Yeah. And value matters. And we always say we want to be better, cheaper, faster, all that. And that matters. But you have to, like, believe in people, and you got to trust people. Trust. And you gotta just genuinely care about people. And that's the one thing that if I could say, there's a lot of tough things about running your own business, and there's pros and cons to everything. And you wake up, really stressed most of the days. But the thing that I love the most is you can choose who you work with. Mm-hmm. You really can, because and you guys know it here that we've walked away from partnerships or we've turned down things when we didn't believe in the people. And I feel really like that is the biggest thing, that's the biggest blessing we can get, to decide who you want to work. Now, they may not want to work with you, but like, you can say that's the type of person or company I want to work with. Yep. And to me, like, that's why I love partnering with you, Colleen, and the partners that we have is because we believe in you. We believe in the same values, and we just trust each other to do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah, and what I've liked about our partnership is, as we have grown to know each other and our each other's companies, we will take you and your team into a meeting with us, and we will call you Kroger, and we will speak as if it's we and it's not them and us. I mean, and that's when you really know that you have something special. Right. And I have told people that you can talk about our strategy and where we want to go better than a lot of people that on my own team. And that's crazy, right? That's crazy. But that's what I admire in you and your commitment. And you know what? It comes out and it is revealed in your people. And your people are amazing. And the way they treat us, respond to us, care about us, know our vision, mission, and just their caring and their authenticity. And I feel like I can trust your people just as much as I can trust you. I mean, there's nobody on your team that I...
Jordan, I don't know. I mean, Jordan,
questionable. 50, Jordan might be the questionable 50. One. But I mean, that's really important to me. Yeah, I mean, and you're busy. I mean, you're the CEO of this company. You can't always just respond to Kroger. So I need to have, someone, you need to have people that back you up. And I just think that we were good. But you have taken us to this level of where we can see greatness. And it's really been fantastic. And the rest of the company has seen it too. So from the way that you've helped us execute, whether it be some of the strategic stuff that you've done, KrogerHealth.com that you've done, and I mean the Pulse events, which are events where we get people together and we inspire them to do what we either are asking them to do, taught them to do, they went to school to do. We're trying to inspire them to go back to that store, and it's the interaction with the customers and the people at that store that builds loyalty, and builds the profession for years to come. You helped us go from good to great, and now we're at this level where I believe we're a true powerhouse, and I feel great about that. And all of our 22,000 healthcare professionals getting on board with a strategy is pretty fantastic.
I remember sitting with you in your office, one of the first times we met, and just feeling your energy and feeling like the passion you have, and I was like, Colleen, like, we have to have as many people in the company feel this, what I'm feeling, as possible. Like, where can we go? What can the plan be for you to get out and share? I really believe that the greatest leaders lead with integrity. They lead with passion as well as intellect. But if you just have the smarts and you don't have the passion and you don't have the integrity, you're not going to be a great leader. Right. And when you have all three, like you do, amazing things can happen, and you can see it when you get in front of people. Especially when you get out in front of like the masses, and you have a massive company that you're out in front of. And when we see you on stage, every time I've seen you speak, there's 156 people in line waiting to talk to you afterwards. Like they're inspired by it, and I think that's the testament. And I don't believe everybody understands how important that is. But I know that we do, and I know the great leaders do.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but it's only by the grace of God and where I come from, am I able to deliver the way I feel and my passion and my caring for people. And it's come with years of just connecting with people. I do care about all of our pharmacists, techs, interns, NPs, all of them,
Right.
Across the board. And I want nothing more than to elevate them in their roles and where they are, and give them the tools and the solutions and the power to make a difference in people's lives. And I think that now I've just had the experience working at Kroger, been under some leaders that have done that for me. Been under some that have not, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about what I'm not going to do, sometimes just as much as what I'm going to do. But you just, you really appreciate the paths that you're able to cross with people that care. And I mean, I appreciate the path that we've been, our paths that have crossed in life, because, again, I said it before, you've made me better as a leader.
Thank you. If you had to choose one value, Colleen, that you believe is the most important, to you, or the most important to drive success, happiness, whatever it is, what would be the most important value from your point of view?
Authenticity, trust. I think just being authentic and being who you are, not trying to be something different, and doing what you say you're going to do. Don't go say something and not go do it.
Right.
But when people say, "Hey, I want people to say she's real."
Right.
She says what she says. She goes and does.
Right.
And then, I mean, I always put all this authenticity and trust up there. I mean, the whole value of, with my team, I tell them, if I cannot trust you,
Right. We say
it does not matter. It does not matter how smart you are. It does not matter how many letters you have behind your name. I'm dealing with a lot of healthcare professionals.
Right.
Got 16 and 17 different certifications. It doesn't matter what your experience is. It doesn't matter to me. It does not matter. What matters is that I can trust you.
Right. What's our one rule, Vikas? Don't what?
Don't lie.
Don't lie. But we have one rule at our company. We literally have one thing that's instant termination. It's don't lie.
Yeah.
And we all say everything else we could figure out, as long as you're living our principles and values and you don't lie, we can figure it out. We always say being real is so important. I mean, that's what,
which is authenticity, right? Just real.
Exactly. Authenticity. And I think that you can't fake it. You can't fake it. Like if you're real, people know it, and you don't have to put on an act. And sometimes we kind of like level up or level down our realness. I remember like one time we were talking and you're like, hey, you're a lot more calm in the meetings than you are on your videos at times. And we talked about how sometimes we level up and level down. Right, and I've seen you go level 10 intensity and then, bring it down at times.
Bring it down a little bit.
But we're always real, and I think that people do connect with that. I really believe people connect with that.
Yeah.
And I think especially in the business world, people appreciate that.
Yes, because it's rare.
Yeah, and I had a mentor and a previous boss that that told me, like, don't change. Don't try to change and conform and be like the others. You're being put in this spot to do things differently, to be it differently, be yourself. We need different.
Right.
And once he told me that, I thought, man, I'm ready to go. I stepped out of being a pharmacist for the company and went into something that I had zero experience in, and that was running the nursing profession. And so why would you ask me, to run the nursing profession? And that particular individual, which I respect him, Mike Stahl, which was the previous CEO and president of the Little Clinic and previously with the Kroger Company for many years in the HR and Human Resources Department. But when he said, don't change, don't try to conform, be yourself, that's why we're putting you in this spot, I don't know, it was huge for me. And so that I could be me. Right. Which I've had, previous experiences where I've been told, hey, you need to settle down a little bit. You're a little bit too much. Maybe you just need to be more like so-and-so. And, and sometimes inside of a big company of corporate America, you kind of think, well, maybe I need to mold and conform and be like others. But, and I don't mean by that, by pushback on everything. And I don't mean, going rogue and doing my own thing. That's not what I mean. But when you believe in something and you have a passion for people, a passion for results, a passion for doing something different, don't back down. And so I appreciate Mike more than he'll ever know. And I often reach out to him and let him know kind of how we're doing. He's somebody that's very authentic in that he follows us and he sends me notes every now and then and wants us to, succeed and be more and better than when he was there. And I think that's something that
That's
we all
awesome.
have to understand as leaders is helping the next one in line.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now is help the next one in line. There's lots of people that can be in my job and do my role at Kroger. And I'm just trying to prepare them for when that they get here, that they can take over the role and take the company to the next level. Because I think that we as leaders, that's what we need to do in our positions, right? So,
Right. Once you achieve a certain level, it's how do you help others be great?
Yes, helping others be great.
Right.
Yeah, that's what leadership's all about.
Right. Right.
Rodney always says, you need to be uncomfortable all of the time, Colleen. Not just some of the time. Like, are you uncomfortable every day? That's a question, right?
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, to put yourself in a place of, hey, I'm uncomfortable. I try my hardest to continually be in uncomfortable mode to make not only myself better, but our company better.
I think it's so important. I mean, I will say, if you're not uncomfortable, it's not a big enough idea.
Yep. Yes.
You got to keep pushing until you start feeling that little bit of anxiety, that uncomfort, like to almost wonder if it's going to work or not. Can this really happen? And then,
is this possible?
Yep.
Right.
But don't be uncomfortable like you were at that Louisville event, because when the whole screen went out, when Colleen was talking, and I was like, please, God, don't make Colleen, let Colleen not turn around right now. Or I was like, Jesus, strike me down. I don't want to be here anymore.
But you know what I remember about the Louisville event?
What?
Not that happening, and you're blaming it on Vikas, but it wasn't Vikas's fault.
Oh, is he?
But at the Louisville Pulse meeting, I remember the store manager that stood up in the middle of me talking about food as medicine when I said, hey, I don't necessarily have enough time to get into all of this, but we're going to tell you about it later.
Right.
He stood up in the middle of that crowd with 200 people there and said, we want to hear more about it.
Right.
I want to hear more about it.
Right.
This is great for my customer. This is great for us here in District D. District D wants to hear more about it. I mean, that's what I remember. And
That's amazing.
That's what's the great thing about people and the great thing about inspiring people.
Right.
And that store manager, I guarantee you, will grasp on to anything
Right.
that we launch with food as medicine. And the most important piece is deliver the message to his customers.
Right.
So
And
that's
those-
what I remember about Louisville.
Yeah.
All right,
Vikas.
Vikas.
Well, thank you, Colleen, for joining us today. We know you're super busy being on the front lines of the front lines, and coming out here and spending some time with us and sharing your story and what you all are doing is super important for everyone to know and super powerful. And we really respect that and are grateful to be here, along the way. So thank you very much for joining
Colleen.
us today.
And thank you for being such a great partner, great friend. I just can't wait to see what we're going to keep doing with the rest of the team. Make sure Vikas gets all those Louisville events right in the future, but it's going to be awesome. So thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
It's truly my pleasure. Thank you.
Man, Kash, what a great conversation today with Colleen, right? I mean, just the stories.
Now
the
it feels
passion.
weird that she's not in the studio right next to me now,
Yeah, but we got to end it on the one big thing for our listeners.
Yeah, Vikas, there are so many great things. Anytime we talk with Colleen, I always walk away inspired. I always walk away ready to run through a couple brick walls. But the one big thing that I would take away is really a challenge and a call to action to all the companies and corporations and agencies and firms that are looking to partner together. Because great partnership goes way beyond the 9 to 5.
Right.
It goes way beyond the X's and O's of the business.
Yeah.
It really has to seep deep into values and shared principles and trust and friendship, and I've noticed that sometimes companies or people that are on the outside, they're like, wait, why are they working together? It looks like they're friends, or they worked together in a previous life. They have that trust. That's why that he brought her in or she brought him in. Of course. That's why they're doing it. That's why you're doing it. Because when you want to succeed, when you want to win, you want to have not only the best people that do great work, but people that you can trust. Yeah. That people that you've already been in the wars with, that you've been in the trenches with, and that you trust to have your left side, your right side when you're going into battle, So to create great partnerships, you have to be close, You have to be close, man. And you have to, of course, understand the business, and you have to deliver, right? Mm-hmm. But you have to have that shared mission, vision, and values, and you have to be able to connect on the court and off the court. Right. Because if you don't, you're never going to make it happen. And I think that really understanding that and not seeing that as a side conversation or a uncomfortable thing that you think about when you're doing your business development planning, but realizing that is not only a strategy, it's an imperative. And the beautiful thing about it is the only way that happens is it has to be real. Like we talked about on the show, it's got to be authentic. You can't fake it. Right. You can't fake friendship. You can fake it. But not when people really understand, who you are and what you're about. And to me, that's what's the most powerful part.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Another one down. Episode 10, man. It. 10 episodes, Vikas. I can't believe you put up with me for 10 shows.
Let's keep going. We got to get to 100 real quick. Thank you, Colleen, for being here with us today on the Be Somebody Podcast. And thank you to all of our listeners for listening to episode 10 of the Be Somebody Podcast. Don't forget to check out all of our audio and video episodes at besomebody.com. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of the major podcast streaming apps. We out.
You.